I'm here with the wonderful George Ratliff. This is the first time that we've kind of been back together since Joshua.
That was great.
It was great, man.
Here in Dallas. Yeah.
It was here in Dallas. It was great, and it's great to have you back in Dallas for the Dallas International Film Festival. The new movie, Salvation Boulevard. Now, this is based off of the book by, and I'm probably going to screw his name up, is it Larry Beinhardt?
Larry Beinhardt.
Beinhardt, that's it, I'm sorry. And just to start off, because it seems like, just some of the stuff I've been reading online, people talking about the movie, the number one question seems to be that there were a couple things that there were some names that were changed, and that there was a little bit of a tonal change on the story. And I was just kind of curious that, when you guys decided to adapt this material, because obviously anytime I think you're dealing with, the subjects of churches and those types of people, that it's hard not to be a little bit humorous with it, or to be a little bit satirical with it. So
yeah,
was that a conscious decision where you said, like, we got to kind of make this a little bit lighter of a tone?
Well, the book was actually not a comedy.
Yeah, it's pretty straight,
and it's more of a mystery story, and we went much more comic with it, and I got I mean, obviously, I made this movie Hell House, and part of the point of making Hell House is that no one really knew this world or were talking about this world that was in the Hell House was a long time ago.
Yeah, 2001, right?
Yeah, and that was before anyone realized kind of what the political ramifications this giant movement that was going on that was going to have, and now with religion, especially, you don't really talk about it. You argue about it.
Yeah.
And you can't talk about it without being pissed off or
without being civil in some way.
Yeah. And it's really not part of the discussion. It's just I mean, I have a big family. They're all devout Christians, so we have a great relationship with them, but we don't talk about it, and it's...
Why is religion so taboo? Why do you think? I mean, it's one of the few subjects that people just cannot discuss, like, rationally.
Because if you don't believe it, they believe you're in some way offending them. It's offensive because you're calling them either an idiot or a liar or, something. And it comes down to the believe and be satisfied. I believe because I do believe, and you have no right to say that. But well, anyway, I mean, the thing is that we should be able to talk about it. And the first movie I ever made was this documentary called The Plutonium Circus. It's a tiny documentary, no one's seen it. And it was because I grew up in Amarillo, and 17 miles outside of Amarillo was a nuclear bomb plant. And no one knew about it, and no one talked about it. And it was the biggest employer of Amarillo. When I was in high school, they made 5 nukes a day. It was like 16 plants made a piece of a nuke, and they bring it to Amarillo, and they put them together and distribute them out. And no one could talk about it. And you're a bad American if you talk about it. And the tactic was, we made a documentary that was actually very funny about the movie, and became this sort of, like, everyone in Amarillo watched it, and the sort of laughing about it kind of opened up the ability to kind of talk about it. Now it's like fair game, And so it's kind of more the strategy that this is a movie that, I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to really piss off the Christians, Salvation Boulevard.
Yeah.
But they like it. They think it's funny. I mean, it's making fun of a mega pastor, but it's a character, played by Pierce Brosnan.
Right.
And they think it's funny. Like,
who is best when he's doing those broad types of roles like that.
Yeah. That's and he would have gone much crazier with it. it was like constant, like, no, you can't go that big. And he's really funny.
Yeah.
But I was interviewing. A pastor interviewed me. He was like, I really love this movie.
Well, now you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
I mean, because it's but it's always funny, when I made Hell House, I really thought the church was going to run me out of town. And they really liked it. For them, it was like a home movie.
Is it kind of almost like a cyclical thing, like, because you made Hell House 10 years ago, and now making this film, it's almost kind of like, okay, I did that then, and I'm doing this now, and in a way, it's sort of me kind of going back to that thing that, I think, because Hell House got a lot of attention for you at the time.
Yeah. Well, it's more that it's something that's just important to me because, I mean, this movement happened. A lot of it happened out of Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the money for this movement happened out of Dallas in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was sort of like caught in the whirlwind of it growing up in Texas, and then I watched it sort of branch out and become a giant political force, and forces influence the world and does every day now. And but it's an important thing that people don't talk about. So it's just important to me, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, but I don't have any intention of doing another religious movie. I want to stay away. I was offered a religious movie. I was like, no, I can't do it.
I've done it.
I can't do the box set.
The trilogy.
I'm getting them too.
Now, let's talk a little bit about that cast, because you've got, I mean, just going on the list, you got Greg Kinnear, you got Marissa Tomei, Jennifer Connelly, Pierce Brosnan, Ed Harris, Isabel Lucas,
Isabel Furman.
I'm sorry, Isabel Furman.
Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan, the
Kieran
great
Hines.
Yeah.
Kieran Hines is amazing.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's absolutely terrific. I think the first time I ever saw that guy, and I can't remember what it was, I want to say it was, just some little role in a movie that he did like 10 years ago or something, and he just blew me away, and I was like, that's a guy.
He's always good.
Yeah, he's always good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw him a long time ago it was when I first started to really appreciate and understand acting. It was 1991.
Yeah, really.
And I went to all these RSC plays in London, and he was just amazing. And I remember, and Ray Fiennes, his first time, like it was when he was still just acting in plays.
Yeah.
And those two guys, I mean, I remember those two guys specifically during that time.
Yeah.
And then, so I've been tracking Kieran Hines for many years, and so we cast this Irish guy as, the sort of angry, middle-aged former Navy, retired Navy Texan. He's really good.
And then, but talk about like some of these other people. Like, I mean, obviously we talked about Pierce a little bit. I've always liked Greg Kinnear. I think Greg's got a really great range, which is particularly amazing when you think about where he came from, being that this talk show was a later, I think, which I used to watch all the time, and then all of a sudden he's this dramatic actor, and it's like, who knew?
Who knew? Well, and it's also funny that all the spectrum of styles. Like I made a movie with Sam Rockwell and Vera Farmiga, and they are, I mean, just rock star method actors, and just are there in the moment all the time, and between takes they're still there, and so kind of Ed Harris and Jennifer Connelly are kind of in that world. Pierce Brosnan's, is more like, it's not that complicated what we do, is it? And he'll just go there, and then you'll call action, and he's there. I don't know how he got there. I didn't see that process. But he happens to be there. Yeah. And he's amazing. But it's a totally different style of getting there. And then Greg is somewhere. I mean, they all have these different styles of,
Who's the most intense? I'm guessing Ed Harris, but who would you say is the most intense?
Oh, Ed Harris and Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly is very intense. But ironically, those are the two that I kind of ended up feeling really comfortable with.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most intimidating, I think, but for some reason I really...
I've never seen more spectacular bloopers than when I've seen Ed Harris on a blooper reel, because the guy, you would think that he just got the worst news of his life every time he screws up a line or something. Was there any of those moments where he just blew up on the set?
No, well, no. He was unintentionally intimidating to a lot of people. Like the other actors, like, God, I just had lunch with Ed Harris. I mean,
and I'm scared to death.
Yeah, and he is intimidating to me because I actually think he's a great director.
Oh yeah.
He's, I think Appaloosa is an amazing movie, and
I love that. I love Pollock a lot.
They're both great movies, and but he couldn't have been sort of more gracious, and like he did his own stunts, and I had this stunt guy like dressed up as Ed Harris. They just like would walk around like, because Ed Harris kept doing it over and over again, and I can't tell you what the stunt is because it would give away a key moment of the movie. Yeah. But Ed Harris like did it every time, and it got to where I would cut before, and he would still like do the stunt. He was intense, and I really just there. Brought it, and was so gracious. but intimidating.
Now the film comes out July, right?
July 15th.
July 15th. Okay, and you've hit Sundance now. Did it play South by Southwest? I can't.
No.
Is this all a wash for me now because all these film festivals?
No, it's we premiered at Sundance and here we are.
Yeah. How was the reaction at Sundance?
You know, the funny thing about Sundance is that, I mean, it was screened 3 times, and there were all 3 good screenings, but the best one was in Salt Lake City, where you know, I expected it to really bomb, like kind of with a Mormon crowd, but it, I don't know if I mean, they were into it to a point that was just silly, like people saying it was the funniest movie. I mean, I don't know if they just really liked the fact that it was making fun of Christian. I don't know why they liked it so much. But no, but Sundance was good. But you know, it's kind of it's not a typical Sundance movie because it has all these movie stars, and if you see the logline of the movie, you think it's an acerbic satire. It's like Stanley Kubrick satire, and it's really not. It's you know, it's light satire, more Garrison Keillor than Stanley Kubrick. and it's a very small independent movie because of the subject matter, but it is meant to play to a larger crowd.
Yeah. The movie is Salvation Boulevard. The man is George Ratliff. Can you tell me real quick what's up next for you? I know you said no more religious movies.
I can't. I'm looking at a couple of things, but I want to do. Oh, I can't. I'm looking to keep it tight and naturalistic.
Okay.
So.
Bring it to Dallas and let's do another Q&A together.
That'd be great.
It'd be great.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you. Thanks so much.